Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Sam and Mary's Outdoor Life. We're starting a new project, aren't we?
I've been given a book by Sam's mum, all about Buckinghamshire. Book of sketches, really. So of the area.
Our plan is to go and find all of those drawings and go and travel around. I think there's a bit over 100, aren't there?
Yeah.
So go travel around and get that sorted and sort of like updated almost. So take photographs and go and visit the places now.
Okay, picture number 1 is Wootton Green. It is actually a pub that used to be called the Queen and Albert, which is now called the Gray's Inn. Picture number 2, Marlow Bridge, south of the county. So not only is this a beautiful place, it's also my hometown, so not only just the picture, we're going to do a few sights of Marlow as well, a few memories.
So, Marlow Suspension Bridge, opened in 1832 by William Tierney Clark, Tierney Court, just here in his name, and this is a trial bridge for the towns of Buda and Pest. So this is a smaller version of a bridge that links Buda and Pest. Across the river there, Marlow Rowing Club, where Sir Steve Redgrave trained.
This is the site of the old Weatherhead Brewery. Used to be obviously brewing buildings down there. And at one point, well, my dad worked for this company for most of his working life. At one point he was a drayman, he became a stock controller, and then at the end of his career with them, he was the site supervisor here, so like the caretaker if you like. And this used to be his office door, and behind it was a treasure trove of old advertising memorabilia, and I used to love coming here as a child and just sorting through it. And then down below, in these little windows here, was the social club known as the Cavern Club, where we'd go and have a little glass of pop on a Saturday afternoon. We're just off of Marlow High Street now. My dad's no longer with us, neither is my mum. Immensely proud of them both. One of my dad's achievements though, twice he was the mayor of Marlow. And to honour that, we have a series of apartments that have been named after him, called Coleman Court. Very proud daughter.
So we're just taking a break on our way off now to Fingist to get a couple of shots there, where apparently at Fingist there's a Norman church, although that's not the picture they chose for their book. It's a Norman saddleback church apparently. So we have to take that photo from in the churchyard looking out. But we just stopped, rather than stopping in Marlow on the high street at one of the really busy cafes, we thought we'd just pop out on our way and stop in this lovely bit of beech woodland, which of course the Chilterns of South Bucks are synonymous with.
Welcome to Fingist. Here's the Norman Church St Bartholomew's that Sam alluded to earlier. Absolutely stunning. And we're standing in the churchyard to take a photo of the checkers from the book. The only thing we've noticed is there's gravestones in the picture that aren't here now. We're wondering artistic license maybe from the artist in the first place. Okay, we're at Hambledon Watermill, one of the most interesting stretches of the Thames. The river was a good route to London and Oxford, when highwaymen ruled the roads. We've reached Turville and St Mary's Church. What's special about Turville?
Geraldine's Church.
Geraldine's Church. Yeah, so this is where The Vicar of Dibley was filmed, so we're going to take you for a little tour as well. Just enjoy the lovely little village.
I should say as well, because of the nature of the old style of this book and the old age, we're also backing all of this stuff up in case YouTube ever decide to delete this video. We're backing it all up on the old analog camera, so every picture in this book is being taken with this camera as well as that one. Way up on the top of the hill there is Turville Windmill. That's the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So there you go. Something I learned today from somebody else.
So you find me sat just outside the front door to Geraldine Granger's vicarage, and then next door the building was used in the filming of Goodnight Mr. Tom. So day 2, 1st of May, sunshine and showers. First stop, showers.
Showers?
Yeah, we're waiting in the car while the
we
rain
are.
passes.
Yeah, we're waiting in the car.
Yeah.
We are at St Mary's Church.
Another St Mary's.
Another
Something
St
about
Mary's.
St Mary's.
And we've got a second St Mary's to go to today
We have.
as well.
Yeah.
But this is St Mary's at Weston Turville, which has a very interesting lynch. Is it Lynchgate? Lichgate.
Lichgate.
Lichgate. Lynching is something entirely different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we were thinking, we're driving over here and we're going, no, it's definitely not going to be the way it used to be. Definitely not. But it is.
It is.
So
Yeah.
when we either brave the weather or it stops raining, we'll show you. Look at this gate in operation. Look at that.
It's cool, isn't it?
Ball and chain.
It's incredible.
Gate. Fabulous, thank you.
Right?
Well, that's it in 1985, so not much has changed. Mary and I have headed into what is not our natural habitat, which is a town, and this is the county town of Buckinghamshire, or as it is now, it's the county town of Buckinghamshire, and it says about it here, not far from the River Tame, which waters the south part of the vale, stands on rising ground a very fair market town, large and pretty populous, surrounded with a great number of pleasant meadows and pastures, now called Aylesbury. That was written in the 16th century, and it held true until after the Second World War. Today Aylesbury is just one more of those once tranquil market towns, ruined by 20th century development. The town has expanded in all directions. It is surrounded not by a great number of pleasant meadows, but by a great number of industrial and housing estates. Its environs engulf the former hamlets of Beerton, Walton and Stone, and only the parish boundary separates it from Stoke Mandeville, 3 miles from Aylesbury town centre. Now that was written in 1985, and Stoke Mandeville and Aylesbury have now joined up. So yeah, it's a big old place, but right in the middle of it are some places that we need to go and see from the book.
So, Pebble Lane in Aylesbury with St Mary's Church behind. Another St Mary's. I think it's a cool name. Okay, so the next picture is the churchyard at St Mary's, so just around the corner from where we were just a moment ago. Only things we've noticed that have changed, the trees have gone and they've put a lamppost in. So a little bit of light pollution and no more trees.
This is one of the nicer lanes in Aylesbury, and I've just come down here. There's the picture of it there.
Parsons Fee and Castle Street intersection. Crossroads. The building behind is known as the Blue Leanie. It was the Equitable Life Insurance Company's offices, and where we're standing was once a petrol station. It's now a very hideous building, really. The only thing that's changed apart from no petrol station is that the trees have grown.
We've made it out from Aylesbury and we've got to the east end of Weedon. There's the picture in the book. Oh, excuse me, there's the picture in the book. And that's what it looks like now.
Okay, so we're still in Weedon. This is a view of the Vale through the 17th century manor farm. We're not getting much of the view, unfortunately, because there's cars.
What's encouraging about this, what we're doing, Mary? Yeah.
Not much has changed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's
you get to a lot of places and you sort of think, oh, it's all going to change massively, but it hasn't. So it's kind of nice. There's a lot of places in rural England that are still largely the same, and it must come down to some sort of protection being in place, I suppose. So yeah, pretty cool.
Very much so. We've reached Nether Winchenden. The picture is of St Nicholas's Church behind us and this letterbox, which we've been here before because it features in the UK Cycle Challenge by Cycling UK. Is that one? And so the answer is on the box, so we're not going to concentrate on that one. But cheekily Sam, if you just turn around, there's a little house there that I want to live in. Have a look at that. That is absolutely stunning.
The building behind me is the Bernard Hall in Cullington. Now, a lot of the village was owned by the Bernard family and, in fact, other villages in the area, obviously big landowners. This is obviously named after them. And when do you think it was built?
I said 1420.
Yeah, so it looks pretty old, doesn't it? 1933. 1933 to 1934 that was built. So whilst it's a fraud, it does make you realise that things can be built in fairly modern times but made to look much more in keeping with the general area.
This is St Nicholas's Church in Chesley. We're going to go in. We've taken a photo from here from where the actual picture was taken, but it would appear they've planted some trees since, so we haven't got a very good view. This church has a Norman font, tie beam roof, box pews and a gallery built in 1761. St Nicholas apparently was a patron saint of fishermen, and we're quite close to the River Tame here. Just out of interest, this is our third church in a row, and it's our third St Nicholas's church in a row, so St Nicholas is just as popular as St Mary in Buckinghamshire, it would appear. So we've made it to Long Crendon. This is the courthouse, built in the 15th century as a parish room. We've been here before. We had a video that was called Back to the Future Bicycle Edit, where we cycled out here and recreated a picture from an old cycling book. So if you want to check that one out, please do. It's now residential downstairs, and I think it's just, I can't remember what it is upstairs, Sam.
I can't remember.
No.
National Trust Hall.
National Trust Hall or something, yeah, it's owned by the National Trust. Beautiful building. Picture here is of Madge's and Thompson's farm in Long Crendon High Street, where an open carriage arch discloses flower gardens against an old wall. There are two houses here under one long continuous thatch roof. Now the white part of the building was on the market earlier in the year, and before we had this book, we viewed it. We were tempted. Unfortunately, we didn't go for it, but I can tell you inside it is absolutely stunning. It's been renovated to proper period features, and it is just beautiful. And my face looks sad now.
This one feels a bit dodgy. Through the archway behind me is Long Crendon Manor House. When were the foundations laid?
1350.
1350. It's a part timbered Tudor house with impressive chimneys, brick chimneys and stuff. But it's obviously like private, and I snuck into the archway to take the photographs. But yeah, we're not going to go wandering about inside there. So here you go, Long Crendon Manor House. We've made it as far as Brill today.
Brill.
We decided that should be on the town sign. So Brill is described as a decaying 17th and 18th century town in someone's book a long time ago, but it's apparently quite nice. It does have a bit of a what's the word? Oh. Locally, people sort of say, because it's right on top of a hill, it got cut off at times of plague and pestilence. So there is a rumour that even to this day, the locals are a little bit local. Yeah. But Brill Windmill is a post windmill that sits on a single post, and the whole thing rotates, which is like an earlier design of windmill to the one that we're going to see a bit later on when we go to New Bradwell on a different day, which was a smock windmill where only the top bit rotated apparently. And this hilltop here is massively sort of quarried. It's all like lumpy and bumpy and stuff, and I guess the quarrying was to build the houses around here, I guess. But there you go. That's Brill. We're knackered. We're going home.
Going home. Okay, 14th of May, Wingrave, Village Pond and Rectory, big green tick.
So we're back out on the road again. Tickford Bridge in Newport Pagnell behind me. There it is in the book. Built in 1810. It's the oldest iron bridge in the county of Bucks, and it's the oldest iron bridge in the world that still has main road traffic driving over it. There's one bridge that's older, but that doesn't. So, oldest one still with main road traffic. So the big building, just, where's my finger? There we are. That's Aston Martin Lagonda. And this is the street scene. Now there's a bit more street furniture than there used to be, but essentially it's the same view.
Okay, so we're at the Church of St Peter in Tyringham. This church, all except for the tower, was rebuilt in 1871. The photo unfortunately is the other side of a fence line there, but we can't get into that field, so we're going to have to take it slightly closer.
So in front of you now is the gatehouse to Gayhurst House. This, at the time of the book, had been converted into a miniature pub, which was called the Sir Francis Drake, because Sir Francis Drake at one time owned Gayhurst House. Now it's gone back to a private residence.
Here we have the pineapple gatepost of Western Underwood.
This is Rose Court in Oney. Excuse the mask, but it's a bit tight down here. This is where I grew up, and or Oney's where I grew up, not Rose Court. So it's kind of nice to be looking at some places nearby. This is basically antique shops, boutiques. You know, it's very boutiquey, but a nice little cut through. Behind me is the Bull Hotel. The front of it's Victorian, but the building's a lot older than that. And just the little building to the side of it, that's also owned by that hotel, and that's where my brother used to live when he worked there many years ago. We're looking at the old vicarage in Oney, built in the 1750s. The Reverend John Newton wrote Amazing Grace from here. That's where he was living at the time when he wrote that. So that's also in the book.
the Lions of Bledlow Public House. Been here a few times for a drink, very nice. Thought we'd come here for something to eat as well tonight, but unfortunately we've got here and it's closed, so I'm absolutely gutted. Sam can keep his wallet shut tonight.
Right, so this is Beaconsfield Old Town. Behind us, 3 shops in the picture: the Old Town Friar, Kingswood Chemist and Small Talk. This is a bit of a sad one. I've come here to photograph Pen Cottage Bookshop. And it's gone back to being cottages, so I suppose it's not too sad. But it was a really good second-hand bookshop. Fantastic place.
Okay, so the picture we've come to take is of Jordan's The Quaker Guest House and Conference Centre. Lovely picture, looks absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately it's now privately owned and behind a rather grotty fence. But interestingly, we've stumbled across the burial ground, and it says here, in 1937 the Quaker architect Hubert Lidbetter planned the circular arrangement of the graves to reflect the seating at a typical Quaker meeting for worship. He also designed the Jordan's headstones and typeface that are still used today to reflect the Quaker belief in equality, as well as giving the burial ground a unified look. So in a nice semicircle, I actually think it'd be quite a nice place to be buried really. Everyone's looking in on the same thing. It seems quite nice and peaceful here.
So we're in the garden of Milton's cottage. Milton, famous for writing Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. He lived here for just 2 years, we've found out, and he was escaping the bubonic plague in London at the time. So a friend of his, who was a Quaker, found him this place to live outside of London, and actually one of their other friends, we've just found out in the garden here, came to visit and told her she was a childhood sweetheart of the guy that found the house, and told that guy she was in love with someone else and she was going to marry him, and that lady is actually buried where we were just now, in that Quaker graveyard. So that's kind of pretty interesting. But the picture is taken from about here, but because of this magnificent magnolia, you can no longer see the house at all. But that's the right spot, and we've got a chap inside to give us a guided tour. So we are about to go and find him again and take the tour.
So we're at the heart of Magpies, previously known as the Magpies, in Coleshill on the way to Amersham from Beaconsfield. I used to work here. I used to be the assistant manager here back in, we were trying to work it out, 1996, so a couple of years ago. And I've liked this one because we've actually been in and had a nice meal as well while we've been here, so we can do more pubs, please.